Teresa Lisum. Teresa Lisum, she's an experienced educator and spirits educator turned beacon of hope. It sounds like a superhero. And you know what? That's a theme, right? With her certification in unleashing your superpowers, she is armed in her intuition. Teresa offers a fresh perspective on personal thriving. Rather than focusing on weaknesses, she empowers us to authentically celebrate our strengths, urging us to embrace our unique talents and our own zone of genius. Our own zone of genius. So everybody's really smart in your own zone of genius. She's committed to leaving a healthy healing legacy, and she passionately uplifts and inspires women to be confident, powerful, and resilient, aligned with their best selves. Their best selves. Please welcome Teresa Lysum. Dun, 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 dun. I have applause. I have applause. Dun, 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 dun. This is because of the superhero thing.
Thank you, Lee. I
Yeah.
really like
So
it.
you are you even wearing a cape today? Is that a cape?
And my superpowers. Now, it's just a little throw because it's chilly here. But
Oh,
it does
okay. I
look
mean,
like it, doesn't it? It's part of my superpower outfit, I guess.
okay. I will buy that. It goes right into it. It goes right into it. So, Teresa, how are you
Mhm.
this? How are you doing this morning? I heard you say it's a little chilly. Where are
It
you?
is really a little early. I'm on Pacific time in Nevada, so little bit earlier than you.
A little bit earlier, like 7:30, seven
Yep.
thirty in the morning, and
Mhm.
we appreciate that you're here to share your message with us because superheroes never sleep.
I love it. I might grab that.
You might
I
grab it?
like
Okay.
that. Thank you.
Okay. So, we talk about I'm curious to know more about you and what you do. Like, how did you, well, yeah, tell us about you. And I'd love to learn more about how you got into this business or helping people.
Okay, before I start, can I share some thoughts and some feelings with you
I love those.
that I
I
would
love
love
all of those.
to make sure that those in the audience hears what I'm saying, because we already spoke about some of this with some other speakers in the previous days. So
Yeah.
I did come into this feeling anxious and a little
Oh,
bit, nervous, but I learned that it's the same energy as excited. So I reframed it to myself that I'm excited to participate here with you today, Lee. And of course, I had thoughts coming into my head about not being good enough, and am I going to be able to serve in a way that's valuable for viewers, and imposter syndrome. So all that has been going through my head, but I'm here anyway. I'm going to step up and do this. But I just wanted people to know that it is a practice. And I mentioned this in the panel discussion the other day.
mhm.
That was yesterday, I think, that it's an ongoing process and practice for me. So it's something that I'm always trying to shift in my head and my own self talk. So I just wanted to be very transparent about that so that viewers can see that it's not like a one and done deal. It's for me personally, it's an ongoing thing that I need to deal with, even though I know my superpowers.
Wow, that's remarkable because even you, who is donning this cape and never sleeps, is feeling this anxiety is a real
Mhm,
human thing. It's a real human thing. And
mhm,
so you working through this and showing up, this is what you help other people do by
mhm.
demonstrating it right here. You're showing up. That is remarkable. And I appreciate that. I'm sure that the audience appreciates this too. Like Kristen says, we put a lot of unnecessary pressure on ourselves, and what we can do is just do the thing. Do the thing.
Mhm. Just show up as our best selves in that particular moment and be authentic. And if I mess up, that's okay. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to be, again, share that with the audience. I thought that would be beneficial for some people.
It certainly is. So then, how did you get into doing this? Because to come from a place where, I've been very afraid, of course, and I think we all feel fear at some
Mhm.
point, but really paralyzing fear has just made me not want to do something that I thought I wanted to do, that I thought would be beneficial for me, and then I just wouldn't do it. I let the imposter
Mhm.
syndrome back me out of
Mhm.
it. So how did you get to a point where you've decided that, even today, you're going to just do the thing? How did you get to this point?
Lots and lots, many, many years, lots of modalities, lots of wonderful people that have led me and guided me and poured into me. So it's been a lot of different pieces of the puzzle that have brought me to this point. And of course, it's my own personal effort that I put into it as well. But I've always kind of struggled with self-doubt, not believing in myself, not seeing my value, feeling unworthy. That's just how I grew up. And so I had to unpiece that over the years. So it's been a long journey. I wish it would have happened sooner in my life than it did, but that's
Mhm.
okay. I can lead as an example for other people and younger people, hopefully. So I would tap into this strengths community, and they would talk about knowing your strengths and understanding and embracing them and blah blah blah. So I
Well,
kind of
blah,
went,
blah, blah, okay.
I really find it intriguing and it resonated with me, but I didn't know where to go with it and what to do with the information. So it was first introduced to me through the company doTERRA and their essential oils company. So that's where I first heard about the strengths. They introduced it to us in a training. So we all got the same information. We all were encouraged to go and get our strengths line up by taking the Gallup Strengths Assessment. And it's like, ooh, this is really cool. I love this. Yes, this sounds like me. Okay, now what? So, and I heard that from lots of other people. They just kind of put that on the back shelf. It was cool information, but where does one go with it? We were not given any directions. So, my mentor, who got the same information at the exact same time as me, he kind of took it and ran with it because it was just an epiphany to him. So, over those years, he has honed this whole process around embracing and loving and using your strengths with intention. So that's where I learned. I learned from him, and it's really impacted me and empowered me and allowed me to see my value and my worth. And it's something that I come back to and revisit on a regular basis. I was
Mhm.
doing it daily, looking at my strengths. I do it multiple times a week. But it's just
Yeah,
very empowering and it reminds me who I really am. And
yeah. And I love that you focus on the strengths because, we're quite often focusing on what we're not and what we don't
exactly.
have and what we're lacking and what we're missing. And we never see what we're doing well. And for
Yes.
for a
Yes.
very long time, it was definitely the same for me. And I
Hmm.
think our society also tells us that we can't talk about those things that
Yes.
we're good at.
Yes.
You don't do that, you're
Exactly.
bragging. You don't do
Hmm.
that. Don't talk like you're smart. If you're so much better than
Yes.
everybody, that's
Yes.
not real. That's not real, and it's really defeating. I think it makes us look at ourselves really small, and that's how I've been living my life for so many decades. I didn't think that I was a smart person. I had to look
Hmm.
around. Is it the way I figured out that I'm a smart person is that I had to look around at people to see if I was like them. I heard this term,
Hmm.
birds of a feather flock together. And I had created this group of people to meet together this was back in the early days of the pandemic when everybody just wanted to get together around Zoom and do stuff. So
Hmm.
I created
Hmm.
this game and I invited all these people that I knew, and they only knew me. They didn't know anybody else. And when they got on this Zoom, there were like 8 people here, and they all had a degree of some kind. Some of them spoke different languages. They had advanced degrees. They had this vast knowledge. And I'm like, oh, I'm like you. I am. If we're all the kind, and that it wasn't because of my own accomplishments, or I said I'm great and I did this thing. It was because I wasn't able to even see myself. It was so
Mhm.
wild. And so here you
Mm.
come with this tool to help me directly reflect. And so I don't have to go out and do the guesswork. Am I like
Yes.
this? Because I'm
Yep.
not
Yep.
sure who I am. How do you help
And
people do that?
I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Sure. Go
No,
ahead. Go
you're
ahead.
right. We're brought up like that. We're brought up to look at our weaknesses and our shortcomings, and you better fix them, and you better get a tutor, and
Yeah.
do better over there, and better, 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 instead of actually being invited to look at what we already do organically and what comes easy to us, and really hone and shine up those easy flowing characteristics and strengths that we have normally or that we've developed over time. And there was this analogy that somebody gave us at one point, and I'm going to use LeBron because I'm from the Northeast Ohio area.
Me too. Me too.
So, what would it be like if, okay, he's got these really high basketball skills, he's honed them for, many, many years. What if somebody said, "Hey, LeBron, you're not very good in math. We're going to pull you off the basketball court and we're going to buff up and give you some tutoring in math so you can get better in math." Like that almost sounds insane, doesn't it?
It sounds ridiculous.
It sounds
Absolutely
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
But any athlete is a good example. They know what they're good at. That's what they practice in. They hone there, they shine in their zone of genius, and they make lots of money because of that. But
Absolutely.
we're almost like the opposite. And it's really sad, and knowing our strengths and being able to share this is like flipping that and giving people the permission to look at themselves from this new perspective. I said it's so empowering and so enlightening, and I've heard so many people benefit in so many ways from knowing and being given permission to look at their strengths and embrace them and love them and use them and be proud of them.
Absolutely. You have to, well, I don't want to say you have to because yesterday, Carol Boston had talked about you get to instead of having
Yes, you
to. Don't
get
make
to.
it a process. Don't make it something that you must do. But
Right,
what will
right.
really be empowering is that if you made the decision and the choice to honor those strengths and uplift those
Mm,
strengths, really look at them and say, this is what I do very well. And it's okay if you've got some other strength thing that isn't as your
yes,
strength. It's okay that I
yes.
don't do that. It's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So we take that shame out of it. That's been a very
Yes,
powerful transformation for me and so many others. And it was hard to
yes.
do. I couldn't do it alone. I couldn't do it alone.
Right, right.
So this
Thank
is
you. I love what you're saying. It is, we think we could do this stuff alone, but we can't. I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for many, many, many other people and teachers and mentors and examples and people who have inspired me. They've all culminated and come together to help me be where I'm at today. So, yes, we definitely are in this world together, and we need to leverage that to be able to
that's why
help
That's why we're
uplift.
coaches. I wanted to give you a
Yes,
high five
exactly.
this way. High five.
Okay, yeah, good. Let's
This
try it
way.
again.
Uh, okay.
Boom.
No. So that's why we're coaches
Yeah.
because I know that for me, what really helped me was going to therapy for 4 years. The therapy, I had group therapy, I had all these people reflecting and helping me, a group leader, help them reflect and help me understand more about myself. And that's one of the things that have helped me become a coach. Like I see more of myself. I see how important it is for somebody that I trust with a different sense of the universe and the world and their own
Mhm,
experiences to give me shameless, without shame, guidance. Allow
mhm.
me to make my mistakes and experience the world I experience, but here's some guidance if I get stuck. I can always turn to them, or here's what my experiences was. Maybe you
Mhm.
can draw from it. And this is how I coach. I coach from this place of here's my experiences, and maybe it sounds familiar to you. This is what I learned. Maybe you'll learn something similar, or maybe you'll learn something different. But
Mhm. Mhm.
essentially, it's that reflection. And so, what I'm
Mm.
getting at is that you have gone through these years, and you said that you wished that it would have happened sooner, but now you
Mhm.
have, and then wish you would happen sooner. Now you have so many experiences of where you've felt like you've been inadequate, and you could be like, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
I was there and this is what I can do. So
Yep.
is this how you coach? Can you tell us a little bit about your coaching?
Yes, I could.
Yeah, I'm
So,
excited to
I mean,
know.
there were so many things you said that I could jump off on, but I won't. I'll try to keep it tight. We could probably talk for hours. So, I have a simple tool, and it's the Gallup Strengths Assessment. Some people have heard of it, some people have not. But it's a half-hour assessment, and Gallup, has used their multi-year billions of dollars resources to be able to put this together. It's very efficient. It's very spot on, I'm finding. It's very spot on. So once you take that assessment, it spews out a report, and you can purchase of five, just your five top strengths, but it's highly more beneficial to purchase all 34 of them. So you'll get a report of 34 strengths, and some people call the bottom 34 weaknesses, but I don't. They're just strengths that aren't serving us in any way, and we don't need to worry about those. But once we have that report of 34, man, we can just take off. And we focus on the top 10 strengths. That's your zone of genius. That's where you're most productive, most creative, most energetic, or most energized. That's where you're most authentic. So if you can learn to leverage and love and embrace those top 10 strengths, then you can apply them to any area of your life. And they're
Mhm.
just so empowering. We take a little look at your bottom strengths, but we don't spend too much time there. Our main focus is on those top 10. The strengths in the middle, we don't really pay attention to, because any of those other strengths are just neutral. They have no energy to them. For you, your most important are those top 10, and you can do anything within those top 10. And I'll stop and
Yes.
take a breath there. So
I
if you
love
have
it
any
because
questions.
I'm like I'm dying to jump in. I'm dying to jump in because I'm super here. I'm just like I love the reframe about you. There's no weaknesses. That wasn't a word that you
Mhm,
used. You said I have
mhm,
top strengths, I have middle strengths, and I have lower strengths. Everything that you do has power and
mhm.
impact. That's
Yes,
I
yes.
think that's what I'm hearing. Everything that you do has power and it has impact. And maybe the bottom strengths aren't the ways that you impact the world in the way you want because it's not your strength. It's not the best
Mhm.
thing that you can do. But if you focus and hone in on those things that are really in your wheelhouse, you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
going to feel more empowered. And
yeah.
I love this a lot because I remember when we first talked about it, I had a little bit of difficulty getting my head around it, but I think I really got it today. It's like, yeah, there's power in everything that you do. It's just
There
everything
is.
that you
I
do.
love that. Another
Yeah,
catchphrase I'm gonna grab from you. Love that. There
there you
is
go.
power and impact in everything we do.
Mhm.
And we almost have to give ourselves permission to accept that. Yes, we do have power, and we do have impact, and give ourselves permission to have that power and impact. I don't
Yes.
know about you, but giving myself permission is always something that is like, oh, okay, I give myself permission to screw up, or I give myself
Yeah.
permission to, like, not be perfect. Like, once I do that, I like take a sigh of relief, like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to think quite a bit. I used to think, how do people just do things? Like, who gave you permission to just do what you want to do? Who did that? Where do I get permission to do what I want to do? Because I just can't do what I want to do. And I remember talking to a coworker. I was 26 and I was just complaining about life. And he was just so frustrated with me. And as he was walking away, he was just like, you know what? You're 26 years old. You don't know what to do. You have all these things going on. All you need to do is change it.
Hmm.
Just
Yep.
change it. That didn't hit me until maybe 15 years later. Wait, I'm 40 now.
Mm,
So, 10 years later, I started to figure out what that really means. Like, oh, I can actually make my own decisions.
yes.
But
Yep.
it's just wild. I didn't know where to start because I didn't know what I was good at or what to even
Hmm.
do. So, I think our listeners would also be curious to learn about, how you help people with these strengths. What are your strengths? How do they show up in your work?
Okay. Well, I'm not going to necessarily go into each individual strengths, but I do want to say that we all have a dominant domain or a category that is like an overreaching way that we view life. So, my overreaching domain is I'm a relationship builder. So, I love to do everything in a way that honors my desire to connect with the right people. Some people have an overall desire to think, learn, and create. So they spend a lot of their time in their head. Some
Mm,
people, they view the world from productivity, getting things done, asking questions, asking for permission later, do, making
mhm,
checklists. And then some people operate from the way of thinking of the domain of moving people. They can see where a person's at and how they could get to their end point very, very quickly. And they can see all of the steps in between. And so so their influence, they can move people from point A to point B very quickly. So even just knowing what your dominant domain is can be very empowering and very helpful. I had one woman who, after we went over her strengths, she realized that she was very high in one of her domains was strategic thinking. She loves to think, learn, and create. She had forgotten the creation piece that she loves to create. She just forgot about it. She hadn't done it for years. She was
mm,
into other things. And so just that one little bit of information allowed her to give herself permission to tap into her creativity more. And it like opened up a whole new world of painting, which she kind of came back to that she had done earlier in her life. And it was just really freeing and empowering for her to just know that that one little piece of creativity is something she forgot about. And it kind of gave her a renewed sense of joy in her life.
wow. Yeah. Don't forget about those things that bring you joy that are strengths of yours that you
Yeah.
enjoy. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so easy to go back into that pattern of not looking at the things that we're good at and we like, but looking at the things that we are not that are our bottom strengths rather.
Well, and what other people are telling us, and the media and everything that's coming into us are giving us all these messages and the ways that we should be thinking and we should be doing and blah blah, do this and do that. Whereas if we can just focus on our own strengths and give ourselves permission to allow our strengths to move us forward, that's where we're empowered and that's where we feel our best.
Mhm.
So and I know we're running short on time here, but just a couple of my strengths. I love learning. I am a lifelong learner. I would learn. I love to learn about everything and anything. That's one of my strengths. I can see the connection between everything and every person. Like I know we've been brought together for a reason, Coach Lee. I knew that from the get-go. So that's how I connect with people. I just trust that they've been brought into my world for a reason. Um,
Absolutely. I believe that too. I believe on that too. And I know that you may want to share more of your strengths, but I know that you said, as we said, we're running out of time and
mhm.
you have this. I know that some people out here would hear you and they're dying to work with you. They're interested in knowing more about how they can reach out to you. But I understand that you have an offer here for us today. You brought something along called the Essential Release Session. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So, yeah, really quick, an essential emotion session. That's just another thing that I offer. And that involves essential oils. You don't absolutely need them, but they enhance the whole process and accelerate the whole process. But you come to the session with an emotion that you're stuck on or that's holding you back or causing hesitation. And then we go through a process once we have that emotion honed down, because there's always maybe it's something underneath that and something underneath that and something underneath that. So we try to hone in on one that we can work on in that particular moment. We walk through the process to release it, get it out of our energy field, out of our system, out of our mind, and then bring in something more positive, something more useful for us, using some affirmations and some visualizations. So, yeah, I would love to offer that to listeners. If you're interested in connecting with me and having an experience with me, I would love to do that for you. I'm
Yeah,
going
scan
to,
the
yeah, go ahead, please
Sorry, yeah,
explain.
go scan the QR code down here. I'm making all kinds. If you remember Skin Marinky Dinky Dink, this is what I'm doing apparently, or the bunny hop, whatever it is that I'm trying to do here. But scan the QR code down at the bottom to
Yep.
schedule your session with her,
Hmm.
and it'll be a really, really amazing session.
Yes.
Um, so I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, inspiring lots of people. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to Teresa, because her social media, we have her social media and so forth. We'll make sure to share it with you if you've missed it a few times. And also, she also has more offers in the swag bag. Look at me
Hmm.
making these things
Hmm.
up here, the QR code. She's a few more offers as well. If you'd like to discover more about that, I believe she also has one more called the Playbook.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
The Playbook,
Superpower playbook.
Superpower Playbook. So, a playbook of positive practices to implement right away, so that you can
Mhm,
start to feel more confident. So, she has
mhm.
lots of tools and things for you. If you're not able to catch this right now, definitely get the swag bag offers up there. And Teresa, is there anything else that you'd like to say before our ending, before we depart
Oh my
today?
gosh. This has just been an honor, a delight, and a privilege. And I am so delighted that I was able to spend some time with you and talk about what I'm doing. And I applaud you and appreciate what you're doing out there in the world. And people can find me just by looking for my name: LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. I don't do Instagram, but but just look for my name and you'll find me. I'd love to connect with you and help you feel empowered in knowledge of your strengths. So thank you so much, Lee, for this opportunity. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Teresa. So glad to have you here.